Hello Minecrafters, this is Seth and welcome to my series on Redstone Concepts where I will be teaching you how to be a pro redstoner. If you're a redstone beginner, this is the series for you. If you're already good at redstone, stick around for some of the later videos in the series that we'll be using some of the knowledge we've gained to build increasingly more advanced modules for use in our farms and contraptions. Often, people go out, find their favorite YouTuber, and copy the builds of farms or awesome redstone contraptions they see from a tutorial. While this is awesome for those just looking for a quick way of finding a specific farm they need, some of these contraptions are so complicated that many people don't actually understand how they work in any depth to apply the skills towards their own contraptions. In this series, we're going to be going over not just what the different redstone components are and how they work, but how they fit together into components that we can reuse in many different kinds of contraptions. We're going to discuss how these farms and machines work in enough depth that you will be able to build them on your own without having to follow a tutorial, and even you can come up with new, novel, or custom designs for your machines. We're going to give you the power to show off your new builds to your friends, and when they ask, "Where did you get the design for that?" you can say, "I made it up myself." You'll be able to custom fit farms into your base without having to move everything around because you understand enough about how it all works that you can design your own solutions. If you don't understand words like logic gates, rising edge detectors, pulse extenders, T-flip-flops, this is the series for you. I'm going to dedicate videos to each of them and many, many more. Our goal is to start with the basics of how redstone works in general, and then slowly build up our knowledge with each new video as we begin to put together these concepts into modules and eventually these modules into full-fledged contraptions. So you're still here watching this video. I assume that means you know what Minecraft is, and you at least know what redstone's all about. You've probably watched several of your favorite YouTubers building awesome things with it. Redstone is a way of adding behavior to your Minecraft world. Many times, this is used as automation for the purposes of acquiring items such as in farms. Other times, we use it to bring our world to life, whether that's through awesome flying machines, piston doors, walking houses, or even pranking our friends. All of these contraptions are collections of redstone items, but if you look at it that way, you'll have a very hard time understanding how it all works together. In fact, the pros don't actually think in terms of individual items at all. Like how atoms exist in the universe with hydrogen and oxygen having their own properties, they can be combined into molecules such as water with completely different properties. It's these redstone molecules, or circuits, that the pros think about when they're building redstone. Redstone circuits come up time and time again, so by understanding what these are, how they work, and how to build them, we can begin to understand how to build massive and complicated redstone contraptions by using them. Take this awesome recent tree farm design by Elmango. If you take a look at each of the items individually, you're going to have a really difficult time figuring out how this thing works, or replicating it, or building it yourself. One of the most successful problem-solving strategies out there is known as divide and conquer, and it's no different in redstone. When faced with a new contraption to build, we first start by figuring out what the major behaviors are that we need in the system. For example, a completely automated tree farm such as this may consist of a sapling placer, down there, a leaf block destroyer, a block conveyor, a blast chamber, or item storage. These smaller circuits are often repeated in many different contraptions, so if you want to be a great redstoner, you need to learn what types of circuits exist, roughly how they work, and how to build them. Once you know these, you can fit them together into bigger redstone modules and eventually into huge, awesome farms. Let's start from the beginning. This is redstone dust, the item it's all named after. Most redstone items require this in order to be built, and it's really how all of this gets started. Redstone dust is best thought of as a wire for electricity. Redstone can either be unpowered or powered, which you can see by the glow of the wire. When powered, redstone provides a value from 1 to 15, also known as its power level. The higher the value, the brighter the redstone wire glows, and as the redstone signal travels through the wire, it loses 1 power for each block it travels until eventually the wire is unpowered. Redstone dust is one of what we call the transmission components. That is, it is used to transport a redstone signal over some distance. The other components that can be used for this primary purpose are the repeater and the comparator. Redstone can be powered in many ways, with some blocks providing a constant power output, while others act as triggers for the many different things that can happen in your Minecraft world. A redstone block provides a constant 15 power to all blocks around it, while a redstone torch, on the other hand, provides 15 power to the blocks next to and above it and can be turned off by powering the block it's connected to. Comparators can also provide a level of power dependent on the input signal, such as the number of items in a container. For the trigger components, these are items that will generate a redstone signal when something happens, such as the press of a button, someone standing on a pressure plate crossing through a tripwire, or a block being updated, among several others. Then, there are components that provide some behavior that interacts with redstone in various ways. Pistons can push blocks, hoppers can collect items, rails can transport minecarts, and so much more. We're not going to go into detail on all the different components just yet. There's so many of them that have so many different uses that, well, this will actually be counterproductive in the long run. Rather, I want us to focus on learning the concepts behind the different circuits so that we can understand how they get put together into larger modules. You've probably heard the word ticks before when used when talking about redstone. This is going to come up a lot, and it's really important to understand how redstone works fundamentally in the game. The server, or your single player game if you're not playing on a server, will process redstone 10 times per second. This means that every 0.1 seconds, you can imagine that all of your redstone components are updated and can do something in the game. In the simplest case, if I place a line of redstone and then power it, you can see that the lamp is lit instantly. This is because the redstone dust itself does not have any delay. Signals travel through a wire in the same tick. However, if I add a repeater in the middle of a line, all of a sudden you can see a slight delay in the lamp lighting up. This is because a repeater, on its default setting, takes 1 tick for a signal to get through it, or 0.1 seconds. This can be increased to 2, 3, or 4 ticks of delay simply by right-clicking the repeater. So if I wanted a delay of exactly 1 second, I simply need to add 10 ticks worth of delay. In this case, 2 repeaters on max delay of 4 ticks each, and 1 repeater on a 2-tick delay. You can think of it this way. When I first power the redstone, it travels through the wire in the first tick and reaches the repeater. This powers the repeater, but the repeater's output will not actually be processed until the next tick, or the next couple ticks if you have some extra delay. Many redstone contraptions require precise timing, such as when you're trying to move blocks around to make piston doors, so understanding how redstone is processed in ticks will help us as we go to build these complex contraptions later on. Virtually every redstone item operates on these ticks in some way. A stone button, for example, when pressed, will output a signal for 10 ticks, or 1 second. A wood button, on the other hand, would output a signal for 15 ticks, or 1.5 seconds. Some components, such as redstone torches and repeaters, may have a delay built in, while others, such as hoppers, can have cooldowns that affect their behavior, such as how often they suck items in from above. Everything in the redstone world revolves around these ticks. So, from now on, whenever you see a new circuit, stop to ask yourself how the signal travels through it and what the timings are. Start now because it does take a bit of time to familiarize yourself with all the different components and how they work, and interact with these timings. If you break down every small circuit you see in this way, then you will understand more about how these circuits fit together, especially when we get to the cool and complicated stuff in a later video. With this knowledge in hand, we're going to go into a whole series of videos on how to build increasingly cooler things with redstone. First, we're going to start out with simple circuits, where we'll learn about things like logic gates, which is how to make decisions about where redstone travels. Clocks, which is how to control repeated redstone signals, such as when we want to do things automatically. Pulse control, how to generate redstone signals with the proper duration, transmit them, how to shorten them, and how to lengthen them, and also even memory, which is how to store information in redstone. But not all of this is going to be abstract concepts about redstone that would make a computer programmer's head swim. We'll also use these concepts and learn more about flying machines, randomizers, minecart stations, item sorters, TNT duplicators, shulker box fillers and emptiers, and so much more. Then we'll put all of these together as we go into the details of the different types of farms and how they work, how you can put together all the different concepts we've learned into new farms and machines developed entirely by you without following a block-by-block tutorial. This is going to be a long series where we learn about something new in each episode. Do you have a particular redstone concept you'd like to learn more about? Leave a comment and I just might get to that concept in the next video. If you like the idea behind this series and want to become a pro redstoner, like and subscribe to follow me in each new episode. This has been Seth, and I'll catch you next time.